Manchester United have won a game of football. Manchester United have won away from home. Manchester United have kept a clean sheet. 3 points, and how we needed those 3 points. United came through. It was a game, let's be completely honest, it was devoid of too much quality apart from that one moment there of utter world-class quality from Bruno Fernandes. Proper RVP style finish. But United grinded the result out tonight. I'm not sure if you remember last season, after we beat Liverpool, I think we played Southampton and Leicester. We won 1-0 both games. That was when Delo was like fist pumping De Gea and stuff like that. That's what that game ended up being in that second half. We sat back at one point. Burnley had like 90% possession in the last 5 minutes. It didn't matter. They didn't really threaten us. We actually looked pretty comfortable in the shape that we had. We conceded a lot of the pitch. We conceded a lot of the possession. But right now, United just need results. And that is exactly what that second half was. And that moment of quality there from Bruno Fernandes is a goal worthy of winning absolutely any game of football. And the assist from Jonny Evans. Jonny Evans putting in the best performance from... I'll speak about Jonny Evans in a bit. The best performance from any centre-back so far this season. But Bruno Fernandes, wow. Talk about leading by example with that finish. United really didn't have much. We were so disjointed as a team in that first... Pretty much a whole game, really. Not really creating many passing moves through build-up play. It was kind of kick it long, couple of knock-ons here or there, try and get a chance out of nowhere. But that moment there with Evans over the top to Bruno, and the technique on that volley was outrageous. Absolutely top draw. And tonight, I said it. It wasn't about the performance. It was about the result. It was about getting 3 points. And now we can use that game as an opportunity to turn the tide, to shift momentum. It's been a really rough few weeks for United with the losses, with the news, in and out of the club, with the constant injuries, but 3 points and a clean sheet away from home. Jonny Evans. When Jonny Evans was in that starting 11, you're thinking, what is going on here? And Jonny Evans there, arguably, I would say he was our man of the match overall. Given Bruno might have got the goal. Well, actually, I'll tell you what, Hannibal could be up there too. It's between one of those three. Jonny Evans, that was an assured centre-back performance. Should Manchester United be playing with Jonny Evans in the Premier League? No, we should not. That's what happens when the Maguire sale fell through. We couldn't sign a replacement. Maguire's now injured. Varane's coming back from injury. Martinez going out with injury. Reguilon going off with injury. Injuries. But Jonny Evans, fair play to him. Not only just for the assist, but just kind of, he looked composed. He looked like a good centre-back. And we needed that. And we needed that clean sheet there. Because we didn't have too much quality going forward. Marcus Rashford. It almost felt like Marcus... You know how we've been speaking all week about Marcus Rashford and he's got to look up and he's got to build his partnership with Højlund. It's almost like he was constantly thinking that. There was a couple of occasions where he kind of could have driven it on himself, taken a shot on himself, but he didn't. He was passing it around the corner. He wasn't really... He's kind of caught between two minds. But now the opposite one. Instead of just thinking about himself, he was thinking too much about Højlund. He'll find the balance. I've got no doubt. But again, can we just take a moment there? Look, Hannibal. After what happened against Brighton and what we saw against Bayern Munich as well, and the passiveness of that midfield, Hannibal was drafted in tonight. It's his second Premier League start, first start of this season. And he was running to the end. He really did set himself and as an example for basically everybody else in that midfield, which isn't really a good reflection on them, but it's certainly a good reflection on Hannibal. And I tell you what, right? If anybody followed Hannibal through the youth teams, he was a hothead. And he got so many like ridiculous red cards for just getting into dumb situations. It was quite a mature performance from Hannibal, I would say. I think Erik Ten Hag will be really happy with him. I think he'll praise him. And I think Hannibal there, he's played himself into our midfield. Well, Scott McTominay's not exactly got to do much. That's so passive for McTominay again tonight. But Erik Ten Hag, right? We just needed the 3 points there. I said before the game, by hook or by crook, by any means necessary. And what United did in that first half, we didn't have much quality going forward. We were trying, but it just wasn't there. It wasn't clicking. We weren't working as a team at all. But the one moment of quality, that's what happens when you do take your chances. When you are clinical. That's what United were there. Well, not completely clinical. But we took that moment. Bruno Fernandes took that moment. And that gave United the 3 points there, which now can hopefully be used as a bit of a... I'm not going to use it as a platform, but I'm just going to use it as like shutting the door on the utter crap that we've seen over these last few weeks. as a performance overall there, we're closer to Burnley in levels of quality than we are to Man City. Light years away. But tonight was not about the performance. It wasn't about the blistering football and the great moves in the build-up. It was just about getting 3 points, however we possibly could. I just mentioned it there. But again, in that first half, McTominay is so passive. Into every 50-50, every time we're going forward, every time we defend, it was half-assed. And especially when you compare it to the performance of Hannibal. In the second half, I think what Erik Ten Hag clearly said when he went in that, we kind of switched our system a little bit. We sat off. We sat into shape. Now, you might be... Yeah, it kind of felt a bit like Mourinho when you think about it. And that's not a Ten Hag team, right? That's not a Ten Hag performance. But we just needed the 3 points. And there's a sheer amount of relief that I've got that United have those 3 points. I think now we've got back-to-back games against Crystal Palace in the League and the League Cup. And I think then we've got Galatasaray in the Champions League at home as well. Maybe Sheffield United after that. I can't actually remember. But you're looking at a list of games which should be winnable. And there should be some more players coming back from injury as well. Amrabat came on for the last few minutes. Kind of went left back. Didn't look at... Well, of course he's shaky. He hasn't played a game of football since Fiorentina lost to West Ham in the Europa Conference final in the last season. Domestically, anyway. Amrabat should now be fit to come into that midfield. McTominay... I imagine that's the last game that he starts Manchester United for a while. Not just because of Amrabat and how well he played there, but also the performance of Hannibal. It means if there's going to be anybody getting an opportunity there in midfield, it'll be Hannibal ahead of McTominay. But next week against Crystal Palace, we should be seeing Amrabat come in and play as that central midfielder. We should be seeing him play alongside Casemiro. And next week, you should be seeing Varane coming back into the team. You should be seeing more of a United team. Maybe Mount comes back into the squad as well. We've had to really deal. Ten Hag has had to really deal with some injury. It's like apocalyptic, I think Neil called it on the podcast. I think it's pretty accurate. Constant injuries. But we got the result there tonight. And I tell you what, like 4 games in a row where a direct VAR decision has impacted a goal either for or against United. The Garnacho offside against Arsenal, the Højlund debut goal against Brighton, the ball going out by millimetres, both of those decisions. The Eriksen penalty against Bayern that was like 3 yards away. That one there, I think, is probably the most debatable. But still, I don't particularly think he was in the line of sight of James Trafford. Rasmus Højlund anyway. You can't see him. He's off screen. That game there, Onana, fair play to him. After what happened against Bayern, I think he was very assured there tonight when he needs to be. But something I noticed, I'm not sure if you've seen it, it's happened in the last 73 games now. Arsenal, Bayern Munich did it, and so did Burnley there. They sat off Onana, let him have the ball, and because we didn't have this man on, we didn't really have anybody who can be that first phase midfielder. I keep banging on about it because it's completely true. I hope that changes for the Crystal Palace game. With Amrabat starting, you should see him make himself available all the time when Onana's got the ball at his feet. And it should mean that United play through the middle, out of defence, and we actually start playing build-up. Because a lot of the time tonight, again, we resorted to the long ball up to Højlund. Worked sometimes, didn't work sometimes, but it was like that, and it came back, and we didn't have the control of the game. Burnley had so much possession. The control of the game here tonight was about our defensive shape. And after conceding 3 or more goals in 3 consecutive games, to get a clean sheet is a result. To get the 3 points is exactly what Ten Hag wanted and needed. That's what he'll be saying in the dressing room there. He goes, look, we're not going to be looking back at that game as sort of like, oh, that's the perfect performance. But he goes, tell you what, it was the performance that brought the result that we needed to stop the negative momentum that was just kind of, no, it wasn't flooding against United, but it was coming in significant waves. I suppose it's the same thing. Hannibal, brilliant from him. Bruno Fernandes, the absolute moment of world-class quality that defined that game. Absolutely stunning from him. And Jonny Evans, fair play. Fair play to him. I did not expect him to play as well as he did. And, well, hopefully, no offence, Johnny, hopefully he won't be playing too many Premier League games for United this season. But now, you know, if Maguire's back, he's now behind Jonny Evans in the pecking order. I hope you enjoy that money you got that Harry Maguire. You know, get that money. But 3 points, yes. Goal, yes. Clean sheet, yes. Amrabat returning from injury, yes. Varane returning from injury, yes. 3 points. How I've missed you.